If you want to be great at sales, you've got to be great at questioning. And it doesn't matter whether you're in a formal sales role or you run your own business and therefore you're interacting with prospective clients. You've got to be great at questioning. Unfortunately, I see some serious mistakes made by people in this situation that is probably costing them business. And I want to talk about one of those specifically today. Hey there, welcome to 4-Minute Friday with me, Brian Conway from 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝘀. And if you've not joined me before, welcome firstly. And so you know, this is where I take just a few minutes on a Friday to share with you a tip, a strategy or tactic or something that'll help you make more sales and I guess ultimately make more money. Now, as I said, I want to talk about questioning because it is one of the most important skills anybody in a sales environment should have. And in particular, one mistake that I see people making all the time. And this is where we ask what I call a compound question. And a compound question is where you ask a question and instead of stopping and letting the customer answer, you then throw in another element of questioning supported by another maybe kind of thought or consideration by another question as you're almost kind of starting to think out loud. Now, I wanted to talk about that this week because I was actually watching, yesterday morning, I was watching a TV morning, breakfast TV kind of chat show host or whatever they're called, reporter in the studio. I won't say who they were. And their questioning technique as I was watching it, because I don't kind of take much notice normally, but it was just something they said that really kind of caught my attention. And then I realized they were doing it all the time actually. And it was this principle of compound questioning. So the example that I wanted to share with you with this interviewer was they were talking to somebody about something to do with politics or whatever it was. And they asked, so what do you think of? And then went on to ask the question, which is a really good question to get somebody's thoughts and perceptions, and insight into what they think of a particular situation. But instead of stopping there and letting the person talk, they then wanted to say, for example, do you, and then kind of gave them some other considerations and basically asked another almost 2 or 3 questions. And didn't even stop there, then went on to say, because somebody else said, and then they gave somebody else's insight. So remember, the primary question initially was, what do you think? And now they're starting to actually tell them what somebody else thinks about it. But they didn't stop there either, because they went on then to say, so I'm curious, with regards to X, what do you think? And actually asked a totally different question to the question they'd originally asked. Now that's quite extreme and quite shocking really for somebody whose profession is questioning as part of, TV show and journalism. But yeah, instead of just saying, well, what do you think? And stopping, they said, what do you think? Because, for example, whatever, and because this person thinks this, and actually I'm curious with regards to so-and-so, what do you think about that? And I said it wasn't even the original question. And we're talking probably for about a minute, I guess, in asking what should have been a simple question to get their guest to actually do the talking, which is why they were on the show. Now, I use that as an example and tell that story because I see that in sales all the time. People asking a good open question and then sometimes shutting it down. I've talked about this before, where sometimes people start answering their own questions, or they give the customer almost a multi-choice answer. So that was one thing, but then actually started, as I said, bringing in some other thoughts about somebody else's way of thinking and whatever. You get the idea. Ask a question, stop talking. Don't add to it. Don't start adding considerations and what would be the word? Other considerations that may have an influence on that answer. Forget all that. Just ask your question and listen. Listen to what the person says and respond by asking another question. Short, to the point, and let the customer talk. You'll find out so much more. The customer almost talks themselves into buying what it is you have to offer. So that's it for this week. Compound questions. No. Good open questions. Stop talking. Let your customer talk. On that note, have a great weekend. Try implementing this next week. Make sure and listen to yourself and make sure you're not asking compound questions, and you'll see a guaranteed improvement in the quality of information you gather and therefore your ability to align your solutions with customers' needs more appropriately, which means you will close more business. That's it from me. I'm Brian Conway. This has been 4-Minute Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.